Hi sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. So today we'll be talking something very important, and it's about this woman who actually came out to talk about how racism in healthcare is real, and this is something black women, black people have been screaming all this while, and still nobody is listening. And the fact that some people that call themselves ally will never stand up to speak against this is just something really very horrifying. And it's really very ridiculous how they feel like African American, like, they feel like black people, let's say black people cannot do anything. Black people are not good nurses, or black people are not qualified, because I hear a lot of them saying that when I go to a black nurse, I definitely will be very scared of myself, because I am not sure if they are, like, if they are qualified to be a nurse. And I hear them say all these things. And these are the things that you hear them say that even, like, make you really feel very bad about, like, the nurses working there. Because if someone outside could see something like this, you can imagine what the nurse is going through in there. Because, like, you can imagine wanting to attend to a patient, and they are saying, sorry, I do not want to be attended by a black person, and all that. Just because you are black, you don't know him, they don't know you, and all that. And then also shows how horrible some people could be. They would rather be on, like, die instead of being attended by someone that looks. Let's get into this.
Story time of me working for Pe0ple, New York as the only black person in corporate. Honestly, y'all, it took a lot out of me to even make this video. It's been 3 months since I left the job. They actually fired me. Wrongful termination, but we'll get to that. It has just been a very long journey. Pe0ple, New York is a very popular beauty brand. They are very known for their 24-hour edge controls. I'll put it right here. And they're also very known for their wig sprays. So hairstylists, listen up, because a lot of you, even if you're not a hairstylist, if you're a black woman, black people in general, listen up, because I was treated so horribly, guys. Like, I would go to the bathroom every day at work and cry. It was to the point where I just couldn't take it anymore. That's how bad it was. So I initially seen a job posting on LinkedIn for being their content creator, basically like the face of the brand. Just do like a quick couple of videos for them. So the HR lady, the company's very small. If that, like, the company is like 80 people or whatever. So there was only one HR person at the time. And this lady, she reached out to me on LinkedIn, and she was like, oh, can you come in for an interview? Like, we would love to talk to you. So I'm like, yeah, sure. So I go in there, and she's just like telling me all about the brand. And I realized that she kept saying, like, oh, we're trying to make it more diverse in the office. We're trying to make it, she just kept saying that. We're just trying to make it more diverse in the office. So I'm just looking around, and I'm like, well, there are a lot of Korean people. How are you guys doing this? Like, what do you mean? There's no black people at all? So she's showing me, like, oh, they have like in-house beauty hairstylers, nail techs, lash techs, whatever, and they test out the products. They're not on a corporate side though. I didn't know this. I'm just thinking like, oh, okay, so I see some black women in the office, cool. So I'm looking around, it's just nothing but Korean people. That still didn't bother me, because I still seen like some black women in the office. So I'm like, cool, it doesn't matter. So she seen my resume, and she was like, how do you feel about actually working full-time as a marketer, social media marketer? And I'm just like, yeah, that's fine. Like, I could come into the office every day and, do marketing. That's what I went to school for, communications and marketing. So I took on a job. And the first day that I went to work, they were just basically showing me how to do stuff, what websites they use, and things like that. So I'm already ready to make my first video, post it on TikTok, Instagram, whatever. Wow. I edited this video and I posted it right before I left. And I noticed that it was going viral within 3 hours. Like, as soon as I posted it, it was going up. So I'm like, I'm getting excited, because I'm like, oh, this is my first day, and I'm already, showing off, like, doing my job. And I was looking at it all night. That's how excited I was. I kept scrolling, going on their page and looking at the video, like, I'm doing my big one. It was around 8 p.m. that I realized that the video was deleted. So I'm like, what's going on? I was reading the comments the whole time, y'all. Everyone was laughing at the video. They were saying whoever's on the marketing team needs a raise. They were saying all these positive things, right? So I go into work the next morning, and as I'm walking to my desk, I have to pass my supervisor's desk, and I have to pass another coworker that thought she was my supervisor. Let's get into that. We could get into that, but I'm gonna just keep going. So I'm going to my desk, and I see that my coworker is showing my supervisor the video that I posted on TikTok from the account or whatever. So I'm like, they're just like literally looking at it or whatever, like reading the comments, and I'm like, hey, good morning. Yeah, why did the video delete? And all I know is that they looked at me and they were just like, there was too many negative comments. So then I go on the account and I, look at the comments. I'm like, there's no negative comments. Someone was saying like, oh, the person that posted it, like the marketing team, the company better be black owned or something like that, because the video was funny. It was about SZA, I think it was. Like, it was about a black person doing a wig. It was some creative thing that I did. It was just all jokes, and it was good for marketing. So I was like, there's no negative comments here. And I felt some type of way, because I'm like, it was my first day. I made a video go viral. Y'all needed help. Y'all needed help going viral and keep marketing these products and stuff, and I'm over here doing it on the first day, and y'all trying to figure out one little thing. Y'all see one little comment that says something a little negative to y'all, and y'all want to delete it. That's not how this works. Like, yeah, we got to get some tough skin around here if y'all want to keep going up in this company. So I let that slide. But ever since that day, I realized like everyone was just in competition with me. I don't know if that makes sense, but it was just like they were no longer trying to teach me anything. They were no longer talking. First of all, I realized, let me just backtrack. Ever since that day, they had started speaking Korean the whole time in the office, in the marketing room. Korean. I had no conversation with them. They would speak to me whenever they told me to just do something. They would have meetings in full-blown Korean. Even the CEO would come in and speak in Korean, and nobody thought to even, like, look and be like, oh, let's just speak in English for now. We do have a black lady here that's just not Korean, and she doesn't know anything that we're saying. So I just started feeling uncomfortable. I'm like, there's no way that, everybody was speaking English in the beginning, the first day that I was there, being very nice. And now all of a sudden, everyone's just speaking Korean the whole time, giggling, looking at me, laughing about things. And I have no idea what any of them are saying. So, story time of me working for Evan, New York as the only black person.
I'm just going to say it. It needs to be said. We need to stop spending our black-owned dollars with companies who do not support, align, or respect black women, black people, black individuals. I know I'm not the only one who goes into a Asian-owned beauty supply and feels intimidated, followed, disrespected just for simply shopping and supporting and giving our money to them. Like, I literally cannot. I cannot. We need to stop. We need to get together. We need to do something, create a black-owned website that has all the black-owned businesses, beauty supplies together in one spot so we can shop there. I know personally, I don't have any beauty supplies in my area. I live in a small white town. I'm the only person of color, and I support black businesses online, as should you. So do your research. Let's get together and do something about this, because it's so horrible. I'm so sorry for her experience, and I wish I could do more in supporting the black community.
Story time of me working for Evan, New York as the only black person in corporate.
This is one of those moments when you have to realize how powerful the black dollar is. Did you know it takes 6 hours for black dollars to circulate out of black hands? So a lot of other races, not racists, but races, they make products and market them to black people, to us, because they know that we use and need these things, and they can beat us to the punch, and like, we're not going to have the companies ourselves because of the system that we come in, which that's a whole other situation. But if you're black, you know what I'm talking about. So we need to boycott this company, Evan, New York. The audacity, the racism, just the total and utter disregard for this not only beautiful but extremely talented woman working in this corporate office for Ebb in New York. The total disregard for her safety, for her well-being, for her excellence in her role. Why did you even hire her? To put her in, like, what? And on top of the fact that I think a lot of companies also hire marketers or people that are just really good at marketing, especially social media, especially TikTok, and they don't understand that there are certain jokes that are funny to this generation. Like, we put faces on bottles and like do all kinds of crazy, you know, quirky little things because it's just a new type of humor, and a lot of them don't get it. And those are the videos that do the best. That's why Ryanair and Duolingo and what all companies that kind of take that approach do so well on social media platforms such as TikTok. She was doing a remarkable job. I'm sickened, I'm flabbergasted, I'm appalled. You need to go watch her video, watch the series. It's only 4 videos as of right now. Share it, comment on it, support her, because we are absolutely going to war for this one. Because what? Like, no, absolutely not.
Story time of me working for Ebb in New York as the only black person.
What blows my mind even more is the fact that a lot of these different ethnicities that are coming into America that are choosing to follow, of all things they can follow, right? They follow racism against African Americans in America. Is you come in, people are racist against you, like Asians, Mexicans, Indians. You dealt with the pure racism of this country. But then you come in and you perpetuate the very fucking thing that you also experienced to a group of people that fought for fucking you to be here. Do you know that the reason why a lot of racist situations that you guys don't even experience is black people fought for that? For real. Let me tell you something. The Discrimination Act was really enacted because of African Americans. So it's crazy that you guys come into this country, bring your brand, start businesses, do everything, and you segregate and discriminate against the very people that made it possible for you to be here. It's crazy.
Story time of me working for Ebb in New York as the only black person in corporate.
I'm really glad somebody had came out and spoke about Eben, because they had a long history of being very racist to people they work for, and a lot of content creators that I know. And it just so happens around the time when I first started blowing up on this app, they was actually one of the companies that actually had hit me up to sit over and promote and use my sound. They wanted me to sit over and promote for them, but also with my sound. Keep that in mind, right? So I sent them my rates. And usually with big companies like that, I mean, you're a big company. You're asking for my time, my sound, and for me to create a video. So all that is going to accumulate into my price. I'm not going to say what my price is, but just know my price is a price. Okay? And remind you, keep in mind, I was no beauty guru. I was never a beauty guru, whatever, hairstylist, nothing like that. Feel me? But a lot of companies had hit me up to use my sound and promote for them based solely off my sound as well too, right? But with Ebbing, so boom, now it's a Zoom meeting. Fast forward, we're talking. I was basically told if I was someone like a James Charles or plenty of other Caucasian creators that they had mentioned to me in that call, okay, they will be willing to sit over here and pay my price that I named. But because I'm nothing of the sort, and to them I'm a low-class content creator, they was only offering 1K. Like, excuse me, you're a whole company that's thriving off of my people in your promotions and all. Team, board, whatever, right? But you gonna have the nerve to sit over and tell me you can't sit over and pay my price because you consider me a low-class content creator, but you need me, though. You need me. That's what I don't understand about some of these brands. It's like, y'all don't want to pay us what we worth, but you need us. Because you know you wouldn't be shit without us. And by us, I mean us, not y'all, us. Like, stop playing. And let me repeat, y'all be thriving off of us, not y'all, us. Okay? It's like, it's crazy to me. So I'm glad somebody's actually coming out to sit over and speak on this horrible ass brand. Okay, they need to be sit over and spoke about. They very is much racist. And it's like, you know what? Nobody needs to be using them. They don't deserve no light. But the only light they deserve is the negativity that they're getting right now. And I'm glad they're getting it.
By now, we've all seen the video of the Black woman who tells her story about the racial discrimination and injustice that she received while working at Eben, however you pronounce that hair company's name, and how that company treated her. As a Korean American, I think it's essential to have open conversations about uncomfortable issues, whether that's addressing racism, discrimination, or cultural misunderstandings. And dialogue is crucial for growth and understandings. While these conversations can be difficult, they are necessary for creating positive change and fostering greater empathy and acceptance within our community. And as a Korean American, I think it's so important for us to talk about why Korean-owned beauty stores can be problematic. While these businesses are often a part of our community, it's crucial to address the issues of cultural appropriation, exploitation, and lack of representation that can arise from these Korean beauty supply stores. And by discussing these issues openly, we can work towards creating more equitable and inclusive spaces within our own community and beyond. In this post, I want to talk about how it came to be that Koreans owned beauty supply brands and how this whole thing intersects with that lady's video and her treatment from Koreans. It's no secret that Black hair products are run largely by South Koreans, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Korean Americans cornered this market decades ago by controlling the manufacturing, distribution, and retail sale of hair extensions and wigs, which has been the moneymaker for the hair industry. And unfortunately, these Korean wholesalers will shut out Black hair owners and will only supply those to Korean retailers instead. So let's take it back to how this all began, how Koreans took over the beauty supply industry and hair industry. Koreans own many Black beauty supply stores due to historical reasons and economic opportunities. In the late 70s and 1980s, many Korean immigrants who faced a lot of language and cultural barriers found entrepreneurships in Black neighborhoods to be a viable option. This was also a time that Black hair care products were becoming popular and very profitable. Korean immigrants who were already familiar with the retail and distribution industry began to dominate this market specifically. But why specifically Koreans? Why did Koreans go into this hair market? Well, hair collectors traveled the countryside of South Korea, offering cash to or even bartering women and girls in exchange for their hair. Hair was bundled and sold to wholesalers who then resold it to wig factories. Wig manufacturing is labor intensive. The hair must be combed and sorted for length. If the hair is natural, it's also got to be disinfected, washed, curled, and dyed. Finally, the hair is sewn into a cloth netting. And yet these wage imbalances allowed wigs to be made in South Korea and imported to the United States and then sold at large markups. And in the 1960s, the wig business and the explosion of wig business in South Korea was instrumental in understanding the Korean ownership of Korean beauty supply stores. For instance, YH Trade Wig Manufacturing Company, whose founder, Young Ho Chang, came up with the idea to make wigs and sell them. His company exported $100 million worth of wigs between the years of 1965 to 1978. That's a lot. And the wig business was doing so well, especially amongst African American consumers, that in 1965, the Korean wig merchants joined together and convinced the Korean government to outlaw the export of raw hair. This ban made it so that one can only buy the pre-made wigs and extensions. In other words, Korean hair could only be manufactured in Korea. And several years later, the United States government created a ban on any wig that contains hair from China, effectively putting South Korea in prime position to exploit the market. And this essentially helped set up many Korean entrepreneurs in the sale of wigs and hair and has fueled them to evolve into full-fledged beauty stores where hair extensions and wigs represent the top selling products. And generations of Korean Americans have duplicated this business model, because if one business is doing well, then it must be a good market. And that's where we see the boom of Asian-owned beauty supply stores. Today, there are over 9,000 Korean-owned beauty supply stores serving a multi-million-dollar market for black hair. Between manufacturing, distributing, and selling hair care products, Koreans appear to control all major components. There are only 4 central distributors serving beauty supply stores in the country, and these Korean-owned distributors heavily discriminate against black store owners. And the relationship between Korean Americans and African Americans is complex and multifaceted, especially in the beauty supply and hair supply industry. And I couldn't make this video without talking about the LA riots of 1992 and the Korean American store owner who shot Letitia Harlins. If you don't know, Letitia Harlins was a 15-year-old African American girl who was fatally shot by Korean American store owner Soon Ja-do, a Korean American convenience store owner, on March 16th, 1991 in Los Angeles, California. The shooting occurred just 13 days after Rodney King was beat by LAPD officers, and that incident sparked widespread outrage and protests. The tragic encounter between Latasha and Soon took place after an altercation over a bottle of orange juice, during which Soon accused Latasha, of attempting to steal the juice. But security footage showed Harlins holding money in her hand, but Soon grabbed her backpack, and then Latasha punched her, and as she turned to leave, the store owner shot her in the back of the head, killing her instantly. The store owner was charged with murder, but during her trial, she argued that she believed that Latasha was attempting to steal and that she acted in self-defense, as we've heard many times before when it comes to African Americans being killed by self-defense. The jury, however, convicted Du of voluntary manslaughter, a charge that carried a maximum of sentence of 16 years in prison. However, the judge sentenced Du to probation, community service, and a small fine, a decision that outraged a lot of people in the black community. The death of Latasha Harlins remains a symbol of racial injustice and the strained relations between Korean Americans and the African American community. And unfortunately, we still see the racial injustice and strained relations between the African American community and Korean American community in beauty supply stores and any Korean-owned store where there are African-American customers, and this has to be stopped. I stopped shopping at Korean-owned beauty supply stores a few years ago because I felt uncomfortable supporting an industry where my own community had a lot of prejudice and racial discrimination, and it bothered me to see my own people involved in an industry where they often lacked understanding and empathy for their African-American customers. If you are a black beauty and or hair care business owner, I'd love to support you and your business. Please feel free to comment below and share your business with me and others.
Just a quick reminder, I'm not boycotting shit. I'm gonna drink Starbucks, I'm gonna eat McDonald's, and I'm going to eat whatever the fuck I want. I'm gonna buy whatever products I want. I don't boycott places unless they piss me off. Okay.
So this is all I got from these teachers, and it's really sad how so many people are going through the same thing. Like, you know, I see the comment section, I see a lot of black people, not even a lot, majority of black nurses saying that this has been their experiences so far. And for, let's say, more than how many persons saying that this has been their experience as probably a black nurse, is just really sad. And I really don't know how they feel like doing that job or being in a space where you know that you are not wanted, or you are not even trusted, or people do not even want to do anything with you, or I don't know, but it's really sucks, you know. And the truth is that I have really seen colored people saying that if I see a black nurse or a black doctor, that I am not going to trust them. Why? Because he does not trust black people or black excellence or their educational or a background and all that. And they always feel like we probably like manipulated or like, you know, probably got our way through that place through one thing or the other, right? So I've already heard them, so many of them said the same thing. And the last one I heard was like a pop-colored man always saying that he has never been to a black doctor, and he was like, what will I even, like, how will I even start when I see a black doctor? What am I even supposed to do with the person and all that? That really shows how deep racism has really eaten into so many people's blood. And the fact that people really go through this, like, you know, and it's really high time their supervisors stand up for them, because you cannot treat people this way. And I am going to say this: if you go to a hospital, probably you are supposed to be attended by a black nurse or something, and you do not want them to attend. Okay, it's either you go somewhere else where they do not have black nurses and all that, because you cannot stop somebody from, especially when the person is the only person, like, you know, at that particular point in time. I mean, it's really crazy how people are going to risk their life over racism. Like, you know, see, I want us to understand something. I do not have problem of probably wanting to see a doctor, and the doctor is telling you that and you are requesting that you probably want to see a black doctor or a white nurse. But this time around, I think they are not the same thing, you know. Most times nurses are the ones that help you do some certain things, or in the absence of doctor, or probably going through your file to see what they are supposed to do to you, or what they are supposed to administer to you and all that. And you are there to see, just this is to tell you, see, just look at their lives. Someone is dying. Instead of them to, like, you know, focus on how they will get better, there are so much focus on how they do not want a black person to probably attend to them, just because of what, like, you know, it's really crazy. And it's crazy and sad. And seeing people share their experiences, how they probably, like, you know, why they were working, because probably other people did not, like, you know, sometimes they are not welcoming, especially when it's like, you know, you are in the midst of all colored people, and some of them, like, you know, keep straight faces and all that. And you see a black person, like, always being by herself, doing the job by herself. Sometimes they feel left out, alone, and the rest of it. But then, man, it's really time. I don't know, but I see a lot of people go through this, like, you know, a lot of people, I see them saying that this is like their daily activities or something in the hospital, and this is America, as you all know, and it happens more often than we think, and the rest of it. And I am sure that a lot of people have gone through it, and I am happy that someone is speaking about it, because the truth is that color people are not ready to talk about this. Most of them are not ready to talk about it. And if there is anyone that can bring all this to an end, it's still them, right? But they would rather look for a way to antagonize or do some certain things to black people, instead of waking up to do the right thing, or being great activists, or being great, like, you know, I don't know, ally to black people and the rest of it. But racism in healthcare is really, it's super real, and it really should not be happening, because healthcare is a very huge institution where a lot of people get healing. I don't know how to say it, but it's an institution where we should not be saying racism there, because it got to do with life and death. People are dying, someone is sick, and all you are interested in is no one in a black nurse, or no one in a black doctor, or no one in, you know, it's just ridiculous. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.